Hey y'all, it's Kate Dorsey here. Welcome to Wellness Wednesdays. I am waiting for Ahdri Kent to join us. We are going to be talking about people pleasing and overcoming it. And I'm super, super excited because that is something that so many of us get so caught up in doing. So, as a reminder, while we wait for Ahdri and hopefully that tag I did worked, I do this every Wednesday, currently in the wrong screen, at can't get back to y'all. Don't know how to get back to y'all. How funny. At 3 p.m. Pacific, back with y'all. Hey, Joyce, so good to see you. Just love connecting with you. Awesome, Ahdri. I'm inviting you on. And 6 p.m. Eastern? Yeah. I don't know that other time. Hey, Ahdri.
Oh, there we go.
You're right side up. Yay.
Awesome. Hey. Oh,
How are you?
I'll put my head in front of that reflection. There we go.
Okay.
I am wonderful.
Okay,
how are you?
Yeah, perfect. Do you have feedback? I have some feedback.
I do have a little. Let me grab my headphones. That might help.
Okay, perfect. Yes, Joyce. Yes, Joyce. Absolutely. Release the shame of people pleasing. Making everyone else happy and have to get something is really hard. Okay. So hopefully that'll work. If not, I might just grab mine just as a backup.
Does that sound any better?
Yes. There's no more feedback. There's no more feedback.
Now let me untangle them.
I had feedback on top of that. Yay! Yay! We're just really building anticipation.
Oh.
Hey, Joella. Hey, Joella. We're gonna go into this topic. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. And ta-da! Ignore the bundled nonsense.
Okay.
I'll just do the one. Hi, guys.
Thanks, Joella. That's so sweet.
So can you hear me okay?
All right, we're ready? Yes. Cool. All right, wonderful. So, Ahdri, can you start a little bit about what you do? I'm gonna get, I'm echoing. I'm gonna go get my earphones while you intro yourself.
Perfect. So, hey guys, I'm super excited to be on here today on Wellness Wednesdays. I am actually a behavioral addiction guide. So I specifically help people conquer their people-pleasing addiction. And I lead them through and into their recovery from that. A lot of people don't realize that it is an addiction. It is this need to be liked and loved. It is this need to make sure everyone around you is okay so that you're okay. And we feed that addiction just like any other kind. Because it's help you with. Hard to get support to get through that because nobody can see what's going on inside and how crippling it really is for us.
Okay, great. I totally missed all of that. Am I still echoing?
No, you sound perfect on my
end. Okay. Hopefully it's not echoing for everyone. It's doing a weird echo thing for me. Okay, anyway, let's talk about breaking the addiction because ultimately when we are constantly caught up in I'm hearing my own voice. Talk to me.
It's the worst.
This is really hard. I don't know what to do. Anyway, okay, so just gonna power through. It's like the inner critic on overdrive, only it's not the inner critic.
You could just mute yours while you're talking. Teamwork. Extreme.
How do I mute? How do I do that?
Oh, I don't know. I guess you'd have to hold down the volume button.
Oh, okay. You know what?
Every
I'm going for it. Oh my God, Ahdri,
I'm going for it. Oh my God, Ahdri,
I'm just gonna.
Brilliant problem.
All right, so I'd love to get caught. I'd love to catch up.
I'd love to catch up with
the addiction.
talking about
Now I've got it
the
again.
addiction.
So
now I've got it again.
Why do we people?
Why do we people please?
Yeah. So just like I was filling them in while you were grabbing your headphones, the addiction is birthed from a need to feel okay. And it's out of a fear of the uncontrollable. It's out of a feeling of unworthiness. And even if we're like those really loud, vivacious people that are like, I don't give a F what people think and I'm the life of the party. Most of the times that's not even the case. And that is literally
right.
us.
It's a bravado.
Right.
That is
It's a
literally
bravado.
us making sure that everyone at the party is okay. Because if we're the life of the party, we're keeping the party going, everyone's okay. So there's all kinds of masks that people pleasers wear just so that we feel okay. It's taking on other people's burdens. It's taking on other people's problems. It's trying to control everyone's life experience. It's trying to control everyone's perception of us, because we don't even really know who we are, because we've spent so long just trying to make everyone else feel awesome, that we're just like, well, I'm the caregiver. That's who I am. And there's this kind of void where we're like, oh, that's scary because that's not an actual identity. And then we try to control everyone's impressions of us because we're like, oh, they can't see us for what we really are, which is like this scared bunny that's just trying to like hold all the Easter eggs in the basket for everyone, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get really caught in it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to power through this feedback that is my own voice talking to myself. So if I'm really slow, that's what's happening. So what I'd love to get into is, how do we start to shift out of that? How do we break out of it? Because like I hear like the drain, the problem, like why this is an issue. So what do we need to start to do to shift our perspective, to recognize that our happiness is the primary importance?
Yeah. So it all starts with admitting you have a problem, with realizing that there is, because
like an addiction.
Yeah. I even have people and followers that really resonate with something that I post, but they're like, but I'm not a people pleaser. Like, so it's even if it's just, and with any personal development journey, just realizing that even though you think you're doing everything right, you can justify everything that you do and all the ways that you give and all the ways that you receive. If you're still unhappy, something's wrong. If you're still exhausted and feeling alone because you honestly don't think there's anyone out there that can love you as hard as you love everyone else.
Yeah.
You know, there's no one out there that can give a gift. A lot of people pleasers suffer on the holidays because we give up even asking for what we want, because we're like, well, no one can actually give the kind of gift that I can give. We give the best presents. We throw the best surprises, you know, we're the best supporters. And we trick ourselves into thinking that nobody else out there is like that. So we're just going to be okay with being the ones to take the hit and being the ones to give. So the first start of being able to get out of that perspective is realizing that maybe your fear has been lying to you the whole time, and really just trying on, which is why I developed the assessment quiz that I did, just trying on if this is what's affecting you, you know? And if it's not, awesome, keep digging and find out what is. But finding out, and if it is, if you're like, oh my God, this is how I feel. I do feel used up, and I feel like I give and nobody gives back, and I just feel exhausted all the time. Then the first start in your perspectives shifting is when we start to take responsibility. And it's a really hard thing, a really, really hard thing to take responsibility for a gross thing that we've created by trying to love too hard. It's really hard, which is why I love helping people through it, because it's such a hard perspective shift. And it's not about taking the blame, because that's gross. It's not about that.
Yeah.
But it really is about that first perspective shift being, what am I doing to everyone by trying to force the love on them that I don't think I deserve? Like, what am I actually doing?
Right.
Because like when you try to force things on people, even if it's love, it's not received correctly, which is why we often feel like we don't hear thank you enough. It's often why we feel like we're not appreciated, because a lot of people around us, even if they can't see through it and they're not like, I feel weird that you're going so far out of your way, but they're just like, thanks, you know? It's, are you familiar with love languages? I'm sure you guys are.
Yeah.
And it would be like trying to speak the completely wrong love language to someone. And they're just like...
Right, like I'm into quality time and you're all about like...
Yeah, if I like came in and like did your dishes, and I would, because I love acts of service. I'd be like, oh, you're welcome. And you'd be like, I still feel like you're not present.
Right, like you still suck in this relationship.
Yeah. So that's the first perspective shift is really digging into and owning the responsibility of what we're doing to people that we're trying to help and we're trying to save.
Yeah. You know, some of this, as you're talking, reminds me of like being a martyr.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know, like I feel like for people pleasers, that can start to come up.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's kind of 3 stages, and I call them the mouse, and the pit bull, and the phoenix. And most people pleasers start off as the mouse. And for a myriad of different reasons. It can be how you were raised. Maybe your family was just full of martyrs and caregivers and overachievers and perfectionists, control freaks. Or it could be something that happened in your life, maybe an abusive relationship that kicked that default system into play. But the mouse starts off, and it's the archetype of the I'm really okay being the one that does everything and that handles everything. It really makes me happy because this is my role. And they're kind of mousy, but in a they almost seem chill, but then you're like, you really don't look happy. But they're like, no, it's totally fine. You know, and they're just.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And then there's pit bulls. I'm a pit bull. And we are that person that is like the best friend, right? We are the best daughter. We're the best employee. We're loyal AF. Like, we're just the one that shows up every time and does everything we say we're going to do. We're also the ones that are chronically late, that have to list at people to give them, like, if we were like, yes, I will be there to help you set up your party. And you get there an hour late and you're like, I'm sorry, there was just traffic, and like, we're self-sabotaging.
You always have excuses.
Yes. But we're the pit bull. We're the one that, even if it's horrible for us and it's abusive for us, because we said we would love you, we'll be there till the end. Even if you don't want to love, we'll be there till the end.
Which is heartbreaking.
It really is. It really is. And I'm very much a pit bull advocate. I have 3 of my own, and it's the exact same thing. You know, when they're pulled out of a situation.
Literally, or just like 3 people pleasing.
I have 3 people in my basement. No, I have 3 actual pit bull dogs.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah.
Also awesome.
You know, when you get them out of the environment of fighting, or sometimes, because even if they're not in a fighting ring or something crazy like that, they're with an abusive owner, and that has a pit bull that they can treat like crap. But the dog is just so, like, you know, you rarely ever see. You rarely ever see a pit bull that's been beaten down that behaves like a scared chihuahua. They're usually like they'll kind of wince, and they'll wince while they're trying to hug the abuser, because they're just like, I know this is gonna hurt, but I have to love you, like I have to. And the third one is the phoenix, and that's when you switch into martyr gear. That is the world actually isn't safe. It's on fire, and the only way I can save people is like to put out the flames with my body. I'm the only one. Yeah, it's the person that is constantly exhausted, constantly isolated, constantly, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. Just taking on everything for everyone. And I see this a lot in the medical industry. Nurses, NPs, doctors, and especially mothers. A lot of the time, most mothers have already shifted into Phoenix mode. And that's when it is just that full-on martyr. They have bought into 100% everything their fear has said. And even if you try to tell them, you're actually hurting everyone around you by giving so much of yourself, then they're likely to cut you out of their life, because they're like, nope, you're not going to challenge the one thing that I know makes me feel loved.
I'm good at,
even
and I feel good at this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love this, because really it's this breakdown of the different ways in which it shows up, and that the work that you do is about transforming that. It's about breaking free from that. So you're no longer showing up for everyone else. Because this is one of the things I think with the example with the moms. Like self-care is really, really important.
And
And most moms
put
their children before themselves, and they don't realize
it's
just like the airplane. Put your mask on first.
Yeah. And that's such an easy thing to hear, because when we're in the airplane, we're like, okay, I get it, because I literally couldn't save my baby if I passed out.
Right.
It's just for a people pleaser, that fear voice is so loud that you can't call bull crap on them. They're
Right.
like, nope. They're like, this is how this is. And
Right.
it digs in so deep, and it ties in so deep to that basement bottom line fear of the uncontrollable. And
Right.
trick themselves into thinking those are like the three tiers that, I mean, so far that I've identified that will sink into the world is going to explode if I don't take care of it. And the fear of the uncontrollable is for everything, you know. And it's uncontrollable if someone I love gets sick. It's uncontrollable if someone I love doesn't love me. It's uncontrollable if, you know, the weather. Like people that get like a lot of road ragers, it's because they're private, they're in their car, and it's triggering a deep fear of the uncontrollable, and they can actually explode for a minute. And it's just, it comes out in a lot of really gross, really creepy ways. And then,
it's like road rage is super intense.
Yeah.
Super intense.
Yeah. I mean, think about all like the moms that have just like gone off in that lioness mom mode, and they, how are you going to argue with a mom, right? When mom's like, no, I have to put my kids first. I can't get enough sleep at night because I have to do this for my children. You know, how do you tell a mom that they're actually being selfish by putting their children first? And they just don't see it.
Yeah, it's such a mindset.
Yeah, it's such a mindset.
Like,
yeah.
It's like
locked in.
It's like locked in.
And so really what you're talking about.
And so really what you're talking about is awareness, openness, moving through the fear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of like, I've got to control everything.
Yeah, and there's a lot of the really important thing is finding a methodology, an ideology, a modality that really fits into your alignment and what you're all about, and being able to find the tools that you can apply day to day, because it obviously doesn't happen overnight, because the oxygen metaphor is just, it's not applicable. It's not realistic for someone that's lived their entire life, that legitimately thinks that people are going to die if they don't put themselves out there, if they don't fix everything.
I mean, I think what you're really highlighting is how powerful that point of view is. Mm-hmm. And so just how important continued work on it really is to break free from it.
Absolutely. That's why I call it addiction recovery, because
I like that analogy.
Yeah, just like it's not just as simple as different, like when we begin personal development journeys, we're like, oh, I'm working on my positivity, I'm working on my gratitude. And these are all things that are great and you can implement them. But you don't have to stay in a constant practice of recovery. Like, you know, for something like, it's just, I learned how to think more positively. I saw the effects, great things came into my life, and I feel better. So of course I'm going to keep doing it. That's not how addiction works.
This is totally different.
Yeah, and in addiction, you have to maintain a recovery. You have to get into it. You have to keep battling that and because it is such a tricky thing, because it tricks you into thinking that you feel good. It tricks you into thinking that you're making other people feel good. And there are
but neither of those are true.
Yeah, and there's so many instances of the lie, right? Because just like when you give someone a gift, they're happy when they get the gift, right? And that's all people pleasers see and use as proof. They use anytime they achieve what they're trying to do, when they pull off the big thing that they're trying to help someone with, when they've made someone feel better by showing up in a big way, when they've overgiven of themselves, if their child is breathing in the morning, you know, all of these things, they use it as proof. Like, aha, see, this is why I do what I do. And it's like, no, you know, this is why you're tricking yourself into these things. These things are amazing and great that they're happening, but you are building this time bomb. And
I think that that's a great way to think of it. It's literally a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
You're going to blow up.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's one of my favorite things when you shift past the overall beginning perspective of, oh, I need to take responsibility for what I'm doing, then we can start working through how. And once we get that ugly piece out of the way, like right up front, and shifting into a lot of people when they decide that they need to change, you can use like health, for example. When people make the decision, they're like, nope, you know what? No more excuses. I need to change. I need to do this. The only way that they can stand their ground is by putting on this real, like, dominant stance armor. You know, like the whole, well, you can eat that cheeseburger, but I'm going to be healthy. You do you, boo. And this weird kind of, you know, strong is the new sexy. And it's these weird, like, yes, they seem empowering at first, but really it's you using this negative churning energy to feel confident. And it just builds and builds, because when you kick in negative churning energy, it keeps churning. And you don't feel it. It's like this little reservoir that goes on, and you keep feeding it, and it explodes. And that's when with any kind of change when people are trying to implement, that self-sabotage wall, you know, after what is usually like 2 weeks of someone being like, oh my God, I'm changing. But if they haven't been using the right energy cleansing, the right positive energy enforcement, the right intention, you know, if it hasn't all been coming from that place of, no, I deserve love. That's the intention. Not, I deserve to look like I deserve love, you know?
Right.
And
so you're really talking about being clear on like how you're going into it.
What's your
intention behind it? What's the energy you're bringing? Is it to look down on others? Or is it to return to yourself?
Yeah. That's why I love putting the responsibility at the beginning. Like, it has to be the first perspective shift, because a lot of times a people pleaser realizes and acknowledges they're a people pleaser by feeling like the victim. Because there is that moment where you go, excuse me? Like, every people pleaser has had that friend that they really went out on a limb for, and that friend just totally
Right. Oh, you just did not do that to me.
No, I've gone out of my way so much for you. How dare you? And then it's that, like, you know what? I'm tired of getting stepped on. And which is healthy to kick you into your recovery, but we need to tackle that straight on head first and be like, okay, but you're not the victim. And you're the reason that this keeps happening. So yeah, it's all about intentions and setting them right off the bat.
Ahdri, I love so much what you're sharing, and I would absolutely love to continue talking to you, minus the feedback that I'm getting in my ear. But I love what you're really taking us through, that this is truly about recovery. This is about changing, remaining committed and an intention, and taking responsibility.
Yeah.
So I love all of this. And Ahdri, if people are interested in learning more about you, working with you, where should they go?
Oh, absolutely. And obviously on Facebook, I'm always open to private messages, totally. But you can also just go to ahdri.com, ahdri.com. And that'll introduce you to all the different ways that you can begin recovery. I also have a free group on Facebook where we talk all things people pleaser. And twice a week I go in there and I take on topics from people that are like, maybe I am, I don't know yet. And I do a free live, I call them Whimsdom sessions, because we're the Whimsical Rebel.
Oh, I love that.
The Whimsical Rebel people-pleasing group. And I do just free topic discussions about something that might be really affecting you or something you need to work through. So yeah, lots of ways to get in touch.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I love what you shared. Like, let's shift how we view it. It's really about recovery.
Yeah.
Because that mindset is so powerful.
Thank you so much for letting me share this with everyone and having me on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to reshare on my biz page and in my group and on YouTube. Woohoo! Hopefully they don't have this weird feedback thing.
Oh, it sounds perfect on my end, so I really don't think it will.
Great. It's just the weirdest. Like I've got my own voice.
In my ear. That's strange. All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. Bye to everyone. I'll be back next Wednesday, 3 p.m. And happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everyone. Bye.
Woo. Bye, Ahdri.